You've been taught the wrong version of Jesus, and the Bible proves it. You know, most people have only been taught about gentle Jesus, the soft-spoken, kind, peaceful Jesus who never raised his voice. But the Bible shows us another side of him, a side that religion doesn't like to talk about. Because when Jesus walked into the temple in John 2 and discovered people profiting off of worship and exploiting the poor, Jesus didn't smile. He didn't whisper. He didn't politely ask them to stop. Instead, he sat down and braided a whip and started flipping over tables. Because Jesus had a major problem with religious institutionalism. Not with sinners. He didn't have a problem with outcasts or the broken. He had a major problem with religious people who looked holy on the outside, yet they were empty and devoid of God on the inside. 2 Timothy 3:5. Here's what John 2, verse 13 through 17 says. When it was almost time for the Jewish Passover, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple courts, he found people selling cattle, sheep, doves, and others sitting at tables exchanging money. So he made a whip out of some cords and drove all of them from the temple courts. Both sheep and cattle, he scattered the coins of money changers and overturned their tables. To those who sold doves, he said, "Get these out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a market." Now listen, Jesus didn't lose control. He was filled with righteous anger. So he decided to defend his Father's house. Surprisingly, this was not a one-time occurrence. 3.5 years later, Jesus went back and he did it all over again. Jesus entered the temple courts. He drove out all the people who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. "It is written," he said to them, "My house will be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of robbers." Matthew 21, verse 12 through 13. Now you guys might be thinking, Jesus was angry? Jesus was flipping over tables? Isn't that wrong? But Ephesians 4:26 says, "Be angry and sin not." You see, Jesus wasn't demonstrating sinful anger, but righteous anger. He wasn't emotional. He wasn't out of control. He was acting in holiness. Righteous anger is what happens when something offends God. That's why Jesus flipped tables. Not to show violence, but to show zeal for his Father's house. John 2:17. And sometimes the same righteous anger is needed today.